Hi Fred, how are you? Cook along. And yeah, hope you're doing well. Busy weekend. Norm HQ. Been busy recording videos for you guys. Rummy content coming at it. We've done about 2 weekends, and yeah, watch this coming. A bit of a kind of week, or a bit of an odd, I suppose, that I asked you. Spicy bean burgers, orange and carrot, and the result. So got like 90. Pulled them against each other. It was the Cranberry. So that's what we're. It's a and moist and just not that bad for you either. It's fairly healthy. Things to be. There's 4 tablespoons of coconut oil in fat. It's a sack. It's good cholesterol. LDL and LDL. But basically, you want to keep cholesterol to bad cholesterol is going to decrease your likelihood of getting. So, issue of high cholesterol, how much we'll not get into that. GTV of New Normal, find that episode 2 or 3. Use for there because I think in terms of our. Anyways, how's the sound? So it says the sound's for a minute whilst eyes. I'm just gonna hold fire better. Don't know what's wrong. Sound is inter. Sorry. Is this YouTube? I think it's. Bear with. Sorry, guys. Stay. Adding these things out when I. Bad sound. Me at all. Talking. Or if I should carry on. Background. I'm not going to. I'm going to carry on chatting. Hear anything. Anyway, the other thing I was going to say in terms of the healthiness of the loaf is a third, which definitely worth sugars out there. Highly processed, so it's in a fairly point of view. It's so it's a pretty healthy loaf. Cranberries, definitely one. a gauge of whether something it before midday or not. A couple of words and then it cuts out. Try and sort it out. Again. That's funny. It's like hiccups because this weekend kind of hiccups whilst I hiccuped myself. We had to restart. So, video hiccups. Video's got them. I'm just going to rid me. Weird. Don't know what's going on. Any better? He's plugging things in. It's frantically. Video's fine. It's just audio. It's like it can't keep up. I do speak quite fast. How are you doing? Any better? Any better? Any better? Okay. He's confident we're better. Let me know if not. Okay. Yes. Thank you guys. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I don't know how much you heard about my waffle of whether it's healthy or not, but my consensus is it's healthy enough to eat before midday, and that's a winner. Right. First things first, get your oven on to 160. 160. Don't go all the way up to 200 or 180 or anything like that. Keep it in a fairly cool oven because it takes a while to cook and you don't want it to be burning. And let me know if you're cooking. Give me a chef's hat if you're cooking. Give me a wave if you're watching. And let's get down to business. So, the ingredients. What we will need tonight is, we're doing it in cups versus grams because if you've cooked with me before, you'll know that accuracy is not my reason for being. So I'm going to cook in cups rather than grams. So we need 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. You can, of course, use white flour if you want, but whole wheat flour is always better from a health point of view. Just plain flour doesn't need to be self-raising. You can use self-raising if you want a little bit of an extra rise, but we're also going to use bicarb and baking powder, so you don't need it. We've got 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and 1/2 cup of almond milk. My preference when it comes to baking or cooking anything sweet is to use chia seeds as the sort of egg substitute, if you like. So chia seeds mixed with the almond milk will create a sort of eggy substance. And like I say, when I'm baking, I tend to use chia seeds. And if I'm cooking savoury, I tend to use flaxseed powder with some water or milk as a sort of eggy substance. So it's up to you, but I think for this recipe, chia seeds is the way to go. Then we've got 1/2 cup of dried cranberries, 1/3 cup of maple syrup or agave, whichever you fancy, whichever you have, 1/2 cup of porridge oats, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of bicarb and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not a master baker and I don't really know the difference between what bicarb and baking powder does. So anyone that has the answer to that, please let me know. I'd be really interested to know. I always sort of read them and think they're interchangeable between recipes, but I do also find that if you're using a lot of baking powder, which sometimes you do have to use quite a bit of baking powder with heavier flours like whole wheat flour, I do find you can sometimes get this kind of baking powdery taste. So that is why I've used 1 teaspoon of bicarb and 1 teaspoon of baking powder to kind of stop that baking powder taste. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. It's a difficult taste to describe, but I don't really like it. So that's why I've used a teaspoon of both, but let me know if you know the real answer to why you should use one or the other. And then we've got 4 tablespoons of coconut oil, 1 orange, we're going to use the zest and the juice, and then we're going to use half a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, or if you've got a vanilla pod, then half a vanilla pod, and 2 carrots. Right, let's get going. So first things first, we're going to mix our chia seeds, so a tablespoon of chia seeds in half a cup of almond milk or any other plant-based milk. And we're just going to give that a mix around. That's all we're doing there is letting them plump up into sort of an eggy substance. So give them a mix and then just let them sit for about 10 minutes. Give them a wee mix every now and again within those 10 minutes because they do tend to clump if you don't kind of agitate them. And like I say, this is basically a substitute for, say, 2 eggs in a recipe where you're baking. There we go, wonderful. You could probably just shot it like if you're into protein and muscle building, then you could probably just shot it like 2 eggs too, because it's quite high in protein. I've never done that. I don't think I'm going to start trying, but I guess that's kind of what a chia pudding is, isn't it? And I love chia pudding. Right, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to melt our 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. So you can either do that in the microwave or in a saucepan. I'm just going to do it in a saucepan because I'm in cook-along corner and there ain't no microwave in cook-along corner, whichever is more convenient for you. And then we're going to peel and finely grate our carrots into a small bowl. So I would use the fine side of your grater as opposed to the large side of your grater, just so you can get them really nice and fine, because you don't want sort of stringy pieces of carrot within your loaf. Maybe you do, but the beauty of carrot in carrot cake and anything like this is that it kind of cooks down into nothing, and it's super tasty. So I'm just going to grate it straight into a bowl, save any mess, save any extra dishes. I'm all for that. Oh, don't grate your fingers off. So how's everyone doing? What's been happening this weekend, my lovelies? And tell me, did you vote for this recipe or did you vote for the spicy bean burgers? And would you still like me to do the spicy bean burgers? I think I'll keep them on the list. Maybe try them next week. I can only do one sweet cook-along in a row because sweet things aren't really my forte. But fear not, I've trialed this recipe more than once. I know it works. So I say that, don't tune out and go. And it's delicious. I'm kind of obsessed with cranberry and orange as a combination right now, actually. Cranberry and orange porridge, cranberry and orange flapjack, cranberry and orange anything really. So combined with a wee carrot makes this a wonderful moist loaf. I do love carrot cake as well, but this just kind of makes it that bit sweeter and I think fresher. Carrot cake for me is quite a wintry cake. I mean, I'm not saying it's summer yet, but I'm trying. I'm trying. Amy says, yes, please, still do the burgers. Okay. Need help not to make them go soggy. Yeah, burgers are a nightmare in terms of it's a fine balance to get them not soggy and not dry. I feel like once you've gone too soggy, your next burger will be too dry, as in you overcompensate for it. So yeah, happy to do it. Morag, you voted for the loaf. Congratulations, you are the winner. I hope you make it. Send us a photo and let us know how you get on when you make it then. Right, so this is my melted coconut oil. So into that, we're going to zest one orange. Oh, I heated that a little bit too much. Sorry, I forgot about it. So it's sizzling as the zest goes in. If you've done the same, let it cool a little bit because you don't want the orange zest to burn in the oil. So Amy and Morag, you're both up for the burger next week. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll do a poll anyway, because what else was I going to suggest? Oh yeah, tempeh. I thought we haven't actually done a tempeh cook-along yet, and I love tempeh. It's a great source of protein. It's my favourite, actually, source of protein in a plant-based diet. So I was going to suggest that one. So I'll do a poll, see if you want burger or tempeh next week. All right. Orange zest in there. You don't really want it to sizzle like that. Here's what not to do. When you're doing it, let your coconut oil cool a bit first. And then juice the orange into that coconut oil too. Smells fantastic. Okay, so that is just our coconut oil with the orange zest and the orange juice. And then into that, we're also going to add our half teaspoon of vanilla bean extract, or half a pod of vanilla beans if you're using a pod. I actually love this bean paste because vanilla pods are so expensive, but also once you use half, it tends to, you don't often need a full vanilla pod, and then once you use half, it dries out quite quickly. So this is a great way to kind of get cost-effective vanilla bean. And it smells phenomenal. Okay, so now we're going to leave that to one side, bring our carrot back to the table, and add our maple syrup into that. Mel, you're up for more tempeh, for a tempeh recipe. Oh shit. Focus on what you're doing, Norms. Fab. Okay, I'll do a poll, let's see. Happy with either. So we've got our carrot, our maple syrup, and then let's just give our chia seeds. Do you see what I mean by they start to clump? I don't know if you can see that there, but when they're left unagitated, you see these chia seeds have clumped at the bottom there. So just agitate that, get your fork in there, break them up. Try not to splash it everywhere. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, just try and get all those clumps out. Sorry, my skanky tea towel. I always have one to hand. Does anyone else do that? Like whenever I'm in the kitchen, I sort of clutch a tea towel like it's my blankie. Right, there we go. So into our carrot and maple syrup, we're going to add our coconut oil and orange zest, juice, and vanilla. Add all that in there. Give that a bit of a mix around. Looks pretty tasty. Some sort of sweet, oily, carroty goodness. Mix all that together. Pop it to one side. Once the chia seeds have plumped up a little bit more, we're going to add those together. I'm just going to put them to one side right now, whilst we get the Big Daddy. This is the Big Daddy baking bowl, mixing bowl. And if I want to make a good cake, I get the Big Daddy out. Don't really know why. It's just like, it's kind of like everyone has this baking bowl, this one. You know the one? Everyone's got it. Everyone's mum and granny has it as well. So if I mean business, I bring out the big baking bowl. So into there, 1.5 cups of wholemeal flour, 1/2 cup of porridge oats, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of bicarb, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Boom. Give that a stir. Just combine it all. Smells nice and spicy. Fabulous. Now we're going to combine these two. Get your carrot back in. Now your chia seeds have sort of plumped up and you've got rid of all the knots. Add that into the bowl. Give it a mix around. I mean, this looks like the least appetizing carrot and orange soup right now. It's destined for big things though. Don't worry. So mix it around. You want to make sure that those chia seeds are properly mixed through before we add the wet to the dry. Fab. Looks disgusting. Trust the process. Big bowl back. Add the wet to the dry. And give it a mix. Oh. I think I've just splashed the camera with some cake juice. Sorry about that, guys. When you come back to see me, I think there's going to be a little bit of cake dough on the lens. I'm going to get in such trouble for that. You've got no idea. Right, give it a good mix. Should come together into consistency a little bit like this. And at this point, we can add the beautiful cranberries. So that's half a cup of dried cranberries and just mix them in. Marvelous. Oh, there's nothing more satisfying than baking a cake. I love it. You see in there? Beautiful. All right. Now, the obligatory taste test, and the thing is, oh yes. And the best part is when you're baking plant-based, you don't have to think, oh no, I can't eat it. It's got raw eggs in it. Well, it doesn't have any raw eggs in it. It's just got chia seeds, and they're beautiful. Right, regular loaf tin, and into that, I'm just going to grease that gently with, just going to get a little dollop of coconut oil. And I'm not precious about this. I just kind of get in there with my hands and grease it like so. You can use greaseproof paper if you want. But with greaseproof paper, to be honest, I tend to find that I just end up cutting it badly and then taking, it sort of bakes into the cake and then takes chunks out of it. So I went into the good old-fashioned greasing method with my fingers. And then I'm just going to pop this into the loaf tray. I'm going to try and do this in a way that I can show you, which inevitably is going to go all wrong, and we're going to have cake all over the counter. How am I doing? Am I getting it in the tin? Sorry, you're probably getting a headshot of all my grey hairs. There we go. That's pretty good. I think I did not bad there. Get every last morsel of this tasty goo into the loaf tin. Fabulous. Give it a bit of a shiggle so it's flat. Oh, got some on the counter, of course I did. And that's it. Just going to pop that in the preheated oven, 150, for 45 minutes. So if you want to just stay here and chat for a while, 45 minutes, then I'll show you what it looks like. Ha ha ha, jokes. I've got one that I made earlier. I'm turning into a proper, ta-da! Turning into a proper Blue Peter here. Blue Peter reference really dates me, doesn't it? It's delicious. I haven't cut into this one yet, so you still get the real moment of truth where you see whether or not it's soggy in the middle, because I don't know. But it's, last time I made it super moist and oh so good. So I'm just gonna cut on in. No, I'm not gonna cut in yet. Under strict instructions. I'm just gonna kick back. All right, here we go. I'm gonna cut in this side so you can see what's going on. How does it look? Oh, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to try it. That's tasty. All the good flavors of cranberry and orange with the moistness of the carrot. Perfect. I'm looking forward to tea and cake tomorrow. Who am I kidding? Absolutely gonna be eating this straight after we get off camera. Cool, so that's it, guys. I'm just trying to think if I've got anything to tell you. Oh yes, I do. Or maybe I said this at the beginning. I think I said this at the beginning, and if I didn't, I should have. Check us out on YouTube, because we're going to be streaming live to YouTube every week now as well, to give you the HD experience. So yeah, I would really appreciate your likes, follows, or subscribes and shares, because I've got a lonely 3 followers there right now, so all help appreciated. And I'll put a wee poll on Facebook and Instagram to ask what you want to do next week. Tempeh or spicy bean burger sounds like winners potentially. And one more thing I was going to say. What was it? What was it? Oh yeah, when you make it, tag me, send me a photo, share it. Let me see how you get on. See you next week. Same time, same place for some spicy bean burgers or some tempeh. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.